Would you support an artist if he was a snitch? That's a valid question. Would you listen to a person who snitched on his homeboy? Would you listen to his album? Would you buy it? Would you support it? I mean, even if the album was like the greatest thing in the world, what would be your play? Fat Joe says he can't support Gunna even though he likes his music because he snitched on somebody. I've never believed that Fat Joe would be one of those people who we want to hear his music opinion about. I'm just going to be honest with you. Old school rules don't apply to 2025. Would you go back and spin the block on somebody who completely deleted your interview? Drake decided to spin the block with Bobbi Althoff one more time and kickstart her newest podcast, giving her more hip-hop credibility so we can get more of our hip-hop artists on non-hip-hop platforms. It's been a crazy week, and I'm pretty pissed off about it.
The STEM Society.
Welcome back to the STEM Society. My name is Cole Jackson. This is episode 117. We're live. Thank you for joining me for another episode. This week, I wanted to jump into this whole Fat Joe and Gunna thing, and I have some questions because some of this stuff is really boggling my mind. So on the Joe and Jada show, Fat Joe had a problem with supporting Gunna and his new album. He made it perfectly clear that he liked the album, but he doesn't like snitches. I want to play this clip for you really fast and get you guys to see where I'm coming from with this.
You got some guys that are the hottest guys in the game, rats. Like, I get a phone call from somebody, he says, yo, man, you got to check this album out. Ever since I assumed you a rat, your people ain't fucking with you no more, you know, I'm not listening. I'm off you, no matter what you do. And I get on the plane and they fuck me. I listened to this album. This album was so good. I was so guilty of this shit. I listened to this album. I said, shit.
Didn't know you talking about Gunna.
I'm not saying, throw the flag. Now
No,
you got a
he's talking
flag.
about.
You got a flag. You have a flag. Because we said we wasn't mentioning names like
No,
that.
but you just said all of that and what?
All I said, the album was fire. There's a million rats out
shout
there.
that you like his album.
Nah.
You
And so
just
what
said
happens
you liked
is,
it. You just said you enjoyed it. And then said, nah.
no, I'm not saying that. What I am saying
You just said it.
so where is, we don't care no more in hip hop? You can rap? No, I'm asking.
You can't rap. But
what if you do? You got the number one album? You got 2 million people on your live, you're this and that. What the fuck is going on the earth?
Why do OGs want to dictate how music is received or taken in, or how we support newer artists? Clearly, he lives from the past, which is the loyalty over everything that all of the OG rappers go off of. You get what I'm saying? Like, that is their thing. Like, oh man, never snitch. Don't be a snitch. Even though you can lie on your records and still be successful. I mean, Fat Joe has told us that he's lied on 95% of his music.
I've been rapping professionally for 30 years. I've lied in almost 95% of my songs. I'm being honest. Lied.
Like how? What do you
just
mean?
go. I write like I feel that day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being creative. You know, if you could probably you couldn't build the jail high enough for the lyrics I've said on songs, which are all untrue. What I am is a family man, the person who gives back to my community all the time, open businesses in my community. So the music would never amount to the actual person, Joseph Cartagena.
Mm-hmm.
So lying is cool, but supporting a snitch is not a good thing to do. Got it. I'm at a crossroads here. I came up in the era of stop snitching, stop lying. Game used to have this whole thing, t-shirts and everything, where he was like, stop snitching, stop telling. And that was his thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the biggest thing that he came out with. And I remember that shit like it was yesterday. And I used to apply those rules to a lot of music. And I missed out on a lot of great music because of that. Am I wrong? Because I changed my ways. I stopped thinking in that term because the more music I listened to, the more I found out that a lot of these rappers aren't really telling us what they're really doing in their lives. A lot of these people come from very good homes and they're not really living what their raps are. So is it a fact that we should stop supporting people who we think snitched? Now remember, we don't really know if Gunna snitched or not. We just assume. Gunna's lawyer came forward and said he took the Alfred plea, which is him pleading guilty while still claiming he was innocent. Now, Gunna denied cooperating with the police, and many people think that he snitched, but we don't have any facts or evidence saying that the man snitched. All we know is he got out of jail a lot earlier than Thug did. And as soon as he got out of jail, he hit the road running and started making music. That first Gunna album, he had no features, and it was one of his best albums ever. We have nothing to support the fact that he snitched. Thug ain't even said that he snitched. Thug did a tweet and delete a while ago, and then that came out. But Thug has not came out in any interview and sat down and said, oh, that nigga snitched on me. I don't fuck with him no more. And we know that Gunna is leaving YSL. This is his last album on that label, so we know that the relationship there ain't really what it should be. But we've never gotten anybody who said, clear as day, Gunna snitched on me. We just got a lot of petty back and forth between two artists who, for the most part, don't like each other. So again, I'm at a crossroads trying to figure out, should I be supporting Gunna's music if I believe in not snitching? I mean, he's not really a street guy. Gunna is a civilian for all intents and purposes. He just signed to a label with a lot of street niggas on it. And they got caught up in a RICO charge that was bullshit and everybody went home. So where's the problem? You get what I'm saying? Like, we're using these old school rules to dictate what new music is supposed to be doing. And I don't think that's right. Tekashi 6ix9ine put a big stigma on what hip hop is these days. And a lot of us are scared to say it, but I'll say it. He duped us. He got us. We fell for the bullshit. He was hanging around a bunch of Bloods, and we thought he was official until he started pointing people out and telling on every single one of those people, and he started calling those people hypocrites. See, we didn't like that. We didn't like that mirror being held up and being called hypocrites and then being told that the same shit that we let slide for some people, we don't let slide for others. And I know it's double standards in hip hop. It always has been. But my biggest thing is, why should we suffer not listening to particular artists because you don't like the fact of he may or may not snitch? You get what I'm saying? Now, I'll be honest with you. Tekashi 6ix9ine was never one of my favorite artists in the beginning. I seen through that shit. I seen through it like it was nothing. And a lot of people fell for it. I think Fat Joe is one of those people who fell for Tekashi's whole act as well.
I always encourage young Spanish, black kids who's trying to change their life, who's trying to come up, the young wave, right? Some rappers I like better than others. You my kind of nigga, my nigga. You spitting that hard shit. You spitting about the stash box. You spitting about I don't do no old hoes. All I do is new hoes.
We have to remember, artists these days can pop out of nowhere. And we also have a lot of labels sitting here putting a lot of different things in the timeline to make us think that these artists are completely different than from what they are. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors these days. Like that keeping it real bullshit that we used to have back in the early 2000s and late 90s, gone. Keeping it real don't get money in your pocket. And when you listen to Gunna's album, he does nothing but talk about designer clothes, Lamborghinis, islands. It's all luxury rap. He's talking about things that he knows or he's lived for the last 5 years. So why are the OGs so detached from how music is done these days? To me, it just felt like an OG rapper sounding a bit jealous or upset because they wasn't getting that same type of treatment back in the early 2000s. Music has changed. Hip hop has changed. The way the world takes music in has changed. And it feels like Fat Joe hasn't realized that yet. See, that's my biggest gripe. Using those rules from back in the day on today's artists. Not to mention that labels have a lot to do with what we see when it comes to these artists. Labels have a lot to do with what's put out there when it comes to these artists. There's PR teams. There's a lot of different things that happen on the timeline. I've never heard Gunna get outside of luxury cars, Rick Owens, islands, fucking your girl. I haven't heard him say anything about being a gang member or shooting a gun or any of that or sending goons or none of that. So what's the problem? What's the disconnect? Why are we on different ends when it comes to supporting an artist and what he does with his art? On top of a lot of the people, his peers, have done a lot of different shitty things in their career, and we've let that shit slide. We've supported a lot of horrible, heinous things from a lot of these rappers from that era. It's the truth. We've seen it right in front of our face. I'm just tired of listening to people on their platforms, especially former rappers, who want to sit up here and just apply those rules to the future. That's my biggest problem, man. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be supporting. If I feel the same way that Fat Joe feels about snitching, maybe I shouldn't be supporting Gunna at all. But again, he makes great music. I'm sorry. The nigga has some slaps. And I was a Gunna fan before the whole YSL situation went down. So I just don't know where I land on this. I don't understand the disconnect. I don't get why it has to be such a rift because of the old school rules. Things just aren't what they used to be. And I wish a lot of these old school artists on these new platforms would remember that. Times change. People live a persona that ain't real no more. Shit. If you asked around, Fat Joe was living a persona that really wasn't his, Joey Crack. I'm just saying, man, the double standard that a lot of people have these days it's really fucked up. It's really stupid, and I don't think I'll be able to understand it. Let me know what you think. Do you think we should be supporting Gunna and his music because we thought that he snitched? Should we support anybody who has a label of being snitched or being called a snitch? Should we even be listening to hip hop in general? It's all out there. There's a conversation to be had, and it's in the comments. Let me know down below. So Friday, Drake decided to announce his interview with the one and only Bobbi Althoff. She just buried her last podcast, and she decided to spark off her new podcast with a new interview with Drake. It's another attempt of Drake actually shunning hip-hop media yet again and going with somebody who completely is outside of what we think is the norm or who he should sit down with. I feel a lot like a lot of other people on the timeline. Why are you doing this again? Now, if you guys remember the first interview, it was very awkward and it was very her style of interview. They laid in a bed together and he answered a lot of questions that he didn't want to answer and got her interview taken down. And it was a big controversy behind that. They blocked each other on social media. It was just a big, hullabaloo. And now he wants to spin the block and do it very classy. He wants to do it in a different way now. I don't like this. Not one bit. And let me tell you why. Being a small-time content creator, we beg and we plead and we crawl. We try really, really hard to get major interviews. And we lose out to people who don't care about the culture. I'm coming to realize the more you love podcasting and the more you love hip-hop media, the more hurt you're going to be throughout this whole thing. Because people like Drake or people, to be honest with you, the big three in general, Drake, Kendrick, and Cole, they don't sit down with hip-hop media anymore. They don't give us the interviews that we want to hear when it comes to the music side of things. 50% of that goes towards how hip-hop media is these days with the hot take artists like Ray Daniels, or you have people like academics who still thrives off of being a vampire in hip-hop media and not really caring about the culture like that. See, people like me who do it for the love and do it out of love are always going to get screwed over no matter what. It's a fact. I'm not sitting up here making this up. I remember I was on the timeline and I seen Mimi, the music blogger, give us this tweet and just talked about how hard it is. It was a young lady who was trying to get a Doechii interview and it got canceled out of nowhere. No reason why or anything like that.
I was meant to be interviewing Doechii this weekend, or potentially interview Doechii this weekend, obviously depending on her mood, at All Points East, but she's pulled out. So I spent the last hour crying and having a panic attack. When I got looped into the email with her PR team last week, I literally screamed. I was like, oh my God. Crazy. Been manifesting, interviewing her for like a year now. Consistently, I've professed that, I've said that. I've always said, online, guys, if I could interview Doechii, let me interview Doechii. I was so fucking excited. And it's not going to happen this time. I know it will happen at some point. But yeah, this is the reality of being an interviewer. This is the reality of being a presenter. It is long. It's really sad. I was really looking forward to it. And it was one of those things that I wasn't going to let myself get excited about. But I thought, actually, it's a really big thing. It's a really big opportunity. I often find that presenting and interviewing is one of those things that people often don't take seriously as a job, or realize that those of us who take it seriously as a job put in a lot of work and effort and research, and I really care about the people that I'm interviewing. I've actually got an interview tomorrow with a really big footballer, so I'm gonna go sleep and maybe see my friends if any of my friends are free and they want to see me. And try and distract myself, because otherwise I'm going to spend the whole day beating myself up.
And it just goes to show that we really work hard to try to get these things done. But when you take somebody who already has a bit of privilege on their side already, and you give them a second chance to go into outer space again, well, what does that say? Especially about artists who don't sit down with hip hop media like they should. They pick that type of interview before they sit down with people who really want to talk about the music, people who want to ask the real hard questions. That's the biggest problem I have with this thing, man. We didn't ask for another Bobbi Althoff interview, and we know what Drake is. Drake don't care about hip-hop no more. He cares about numbers, he cares about suing UMG, and he cares about being in the public's eye yet again. He's already going through his troubles with Stake and a lot of other different brands that he's been signed to. But the fact that we're not going to get Drake on a hip-hop media platform again says a lot about how he feels about us as fans, as media, as all of that. I'm not saying that I was going to get the next Drake interview, but I really feel like people who are on the ground level like myself deserve a Drake interview, or deserve an interview that big. We fight really, really hard out here when it comes to putting our content out there. We have to fight the analytics. We have to fight people in the comments. We have to fight ourselves wanting to quit. We have to fight a lot of different things. That girl don't give two shits about the culture, not one bit. And she's been a vampire off of it for a very long time. And if I'm saying something that you don't like, good, because it's the truth. You sit up here, when Drake did that first interview, everybody from hip hop just fled right to her, wanting to sit down and do these really awkward and very vanilla interviews that I thought were stupid and made y'all look like some coons. Sorry, but that's just my feelings. Y'all never want to sit down with people who want to ask real questions. Y'all never want to sit down and promote the music. Y'all never want to sit down and do things that's going to help us know you a whole lot better as a rapper or as a musician or as a person. A lot of us, believe it or not, don't want to do hot takes or have a got you moment on camera. A lot of us really give a fuck about giving real interviews, real hip hop interviews. When I first read the story and when I first wrote down what I wanted to say, I was pretty upset, and I was going to really go on a really big rant about how overprivileged people always get to play and will never be able to succeed. But that would be me whining about something that I really don't want. At the end of the day, man, I do this for the love. I do it out of me really wanting to make something out of this platform. I do it because I owe y'all the honesty that you've been asking for. And I already know that when you do a Drake interview, you have to be very quieted in certain things that you ask about. We've seen it when he sat down with a lot of the streamers. So we know how it's going to go. I just hate the fact that some hip-hop media, up-and-coming hip-hop media person who really deserves it and loves the culture don't get that opportunity. That's the biggest problem I have with it. You give out opportunities to people who ain't even in their lane, who don't even care about the art, bruh. Like, that's fucked up. A lot of you artists out here are really giving opportunities to people who don't care about the culture, even though you guys say you fuck with the culture. We are working our asses off out here to give you guys like real content and good shit for you guys to actually, we're not doing this for a paycheck. I'm doing this off the love. I moved here to the UK to learn more about UK rap because I love music. I wanted to be around this music. I wanted to be around my peers to talk about this shit. And at the end of the day, hopefully I can build this platform into something that'll make myself proud and make the culture proud. But when I see Drake spin the block with somebody who, in my opinion, don't necessarily deserve it, it pisses me off and make my blood boil. We work just as hard as she does. She sat up here and got into a DM and DM'd her way into getting a Drake interview on some fluke shit. And I know that just sounds like me hating, but guess what? I'm the biggest hater. I am. At the end of the day, I feel like up-and-coming content creators like myself and others deserve to be able to have a sit down. We fight for this shit. We actually try to get as much as we can out here, and we try to do it as fair as possible. It's just, man, we keep losing to former reality stars or rappers who their careers ended up being shit. We got to fight against shit like that. We got to fight against people who already have the connections, and while we're sitting here networking trying to get up the ladder. The Drake Bobbi Althoff interview means a whole lot more than just me being mad because he don't fuck with hip hop. It means that he's giving her another launching pad to be able to get a whole new flock of hip hop artists, because whether y'all believe it or not, when one big time hip hop artist does something, the other ones are sheep and they follow in the same footsteps. But it's just giving somebody another opportunity that don't necessarily need it anymore. She came in and raped the culture and did whatever she had to do. She even started fucking black dudes. And I know, again, it sounds really bad, but I just feel like it's time for these hip hop artists to start sitting down with real platforms that's gonna talk about real shit. We ain't gotta get into your personal life, man. We ain't gotta learn who you dating or none of that shit. Because I don't think she's gonna ask about the beef. She's not gonna ask about what are your plans for your new album. Y'all are gonna sit there and be awkward and say stupid, dumb comedy bullshit to each other. Nothing's gonna come out of this but a lot of headlines and a lot of bullshit and a lot of smiling and looking awkward at each other. When you could have really sat down with somebody who's out here trying to grind and get it and actually give them a launching pad. We know Drake ain't hip hop no more. He don't fuck with us like that anymore, and I get it. But give somebody who actually works their ass off an opportunity outside of somebody who's already been tapped in with the bullshit. That's all I'm saying. I just wanted to be able to give my 2 cents about this. I didn't want to come out here and give you guys a bunch of facts or a bunch of word salad. I just wanted to speak my piece because that's what my platform is for. I just feel like we need to stand up as content creators and start asking for more out of the artists and asking for our turn to be able to get our interview. That's all. With that being said, that's all I got for this week, guys. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you support me by giving me some comments and some likes. I will catch you guys on Wednesday when I will give you my review on the newest Offset album. Until then, take care of yourself. I love you. Peace out.
Thank you for joining the STEM Society.